We have breaking news as the New York Rangers have made a sneaky good signing, re-signing MAtt Rempe to a very good contract extension. We're going to break down the specifics of the contract, and not only that, but the implications that it has on the rest of the team and the salary cap structure of this team heading into probably the busiest week of the year for Chris Drury. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest because there is a lot of moving pieces, not just MAtt Rempe signing. Again, we're going to break it all down. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. For the percentage of you who aren't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. It is free, and you get to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers. This is the place to be for all your daily New York Rangers content. But Bret, let's get right into it. Wasn't necessarily expecting this morning. I am still waiting on a trade, which we'll get into on Carson Soucy. I'm sure that's going to come down in the next couple days as well. But MAtt Rempe has officially signed a contract extension with the New York Rangers. It is a 2-year deal that carries an AAV of $975,000. But before we get into any more specifics, what's your thoughts on this? Again, wasn't necessarily expecting this move first, but now they get, MAtt Rempe away from offer sheet territory. We know Will Cuylle's probably up next, but this seems to me, at least in terms of RFAs, this was the first domino to fall, and it's finally fallen.
Well, Darius, I'm a big fan of this move because this is one of those moves that it doesn't hurt the Rangers, it only helps the Rangers. It's not a blockbuster deal. It's not one of these flashy trades that we'll probably see here coming up. So this is a good move for the Rangers, and I spoke about it in a video yesterday. There are some very intriguing options on the open market, on the market when it comes to trades, but the Rangers need to look from within. They need to sign the players that have the makeup, that have the DNA of what the blue shirts are going to be moving forward. And we spoke about Will Cuylle yesterday. We spoke about him and how he should symbolize everything the Rangers look like moving forward. Now, like I said, MAtt Rempe, not a flashy player, not a guy that's going to get you 30 goals and 30 assists or anything like that, but he's going to be a productive disruptor on that fourth line. And this isn't the NBA, Darius. You don't see many guys standing at 6'9" in the NHL, but MAtt Rempe is that lone statue. And I even remember Igor Shesterkin was once quoted saying that he feels a peace of mind when MAtt Rempe is out on the ice, because if anybody, looks the wrong way or throws a hit that may be unnecessary, MAtt Rempe is going to step in there and he's going to do what he has to do because he understands his role. He knows he's not a pure goal scorer or anything like that, but he knows what he's on this Rangers team to do, which is to protect his boys and also just bring a physicality that the Rangers have been missing. And when he's on the ice, Darius, the Rangers just look better. So it's good to have him back.
Absolutely, and this is kind of what the lineup looks like right now. Again, this is very incomplete. There's going to be a lot more moves coming. I don't think Carson Soucy is going to make it to the draft. I think K'Andre Miller is going to get traded as well. We'll get into that in future videos and a live stream that we're doing tonight. So stay tuned for that at 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about the MAtt Rempe extension and a plethora of other things. But again, this is what the lineup kind of looks like right now. And like you mentioned, he's not going to score you 30 goals, right? But he is a young physical force on this team, which is exactly what you need, and he's a guy who's going to protect his guys, especially in the playoffs. So he's going to be a very productive fourth liner, and I'll maintain it. I said it on the channel at nauseum. When he got that 8-game suspension against the Dallas Stars, from the moment he returned, he was one of the most effective players on the team. Not necessarily in terms of point production, but in his role and what he needed to bring, he was playing it perfectly from that moment. From the moment he returned on, he was playing a smart, physical, fast game. So if he brings that into next season, and again, he's still a young player who's learning, I will maintain that, but some of the hits that he thrown or has thrown in his career, are borderline, right? We know that. So, he has to clean that part up, but I think he did after that suspension. I think that's a great sign heading into the future. And that AAV of only $900,000 is great. The Rangers now, like I popped up on screen for a half second there, they still have $14 million of cap space left to use. And they, now they have one of the RFAs that we knew they had to sign locked up, which I think is great. And again, MAtt Rempe, great player for this team. And if you look at Scotia's stat projections, they were pretty much bang on, very close to what he actually ended up getting. If you look at some of the comparables as well, some decent company in terms of what he can bring to the lineup. But again, he had 8 points last season. He played half a season, and he had that 8-game suspension as well. Can't gloss over that. But he's only 23 years old. I think he's only going to get better. And the one thing for me, Bret, that I kind of wanted to touch on is going back to last season. A mentor of his is now gone. He was working on his offensive game with Kreider, and I think that he is still in New York, and he is continuing to work on his offensive game in different areas of the ice. Obviously, he was training last season with George Laraque in terms of learning how to fight. So this is a guy who's putting in the work, and I think Rangers fans, first of all, I think most Rangers fans do love this player. But I think that you can really get behind a guy who's putting in the work and wants to be better and wants to show up next season and be an actual difference maker. Maybe even, jumping up a line if, need be. But he has to take care of his own zone first and obviously add to his offensive game. But it looks like he's just putting in the work, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and for a guy that's not that pure goal scorer that we spoke about, a guy that's not supremely talented when it comes to the offensive end, I mean, the fans, they chant his name. I mean, they want to see Matt Rempe in the game because, like we've spoken about so often, this team this past season, they lacked a certain care, a certain effort, a certain physicality, and Matt Rempe is one of those grinders that he's going to bring it every single night because he isn't the most gifted player on the team. He's not one of the most gifted players in the league, so he knows he has to work for everything he gets. He has to work more than other players that maybe have that skill that don't have to put in as much effort. So Rempe is certainly going to bring it on a night-to-night basis, and this is great for the Rangers because, like you said, it doesn't do any damage to their cap space.
Yep.
It's just going to boost morale. It's going to boost that physicality that the Rangers need to have. They need to establish an identity moving forward, and I'm sure head coach Mike Sullivan wants to establish that identity early on, and we know that he loves young, aggressive-type players, and Matt Rempe certainly fits into that fold. So great move for the Rangers. And I expect them to keep moving forward here and hopefully bring in, keep Will Cuylle next because you don't want to get to offer sheet territory, like you said, because the Rangers, they could afford it. They've got good cap space now, but you don't want to overpay. You don't want to do bad business. You don't want to give these guys unnecessary money. So just lock them up before they could get to that territory, and the Rangers will be in good shape here moving forward. Absolutely,
and like you just mentioned, Will Cuylle is next on the docket. They got this done. You got to sign Cuylle. We covered it in a video yesterday, or this morning, excuse me, that, they're going to sign him. It's just a matter of time. Everyone's speculating that he wants to stay in New York. He wouldn't necessarily sign an offer sheet. If he does make it to offer sheet territory, there are rumors that a team could sign him to $6 million. That's going to be very enticing for him. And, for the New York Rangers, it sounds like they might sign him at $3.5 to $4 million, which I think is great value for a player that had a career year, brings that physicality, and I could see him as a 70-point player on the team. So I think he's next on the docket. They got to get this done probably this week or, early next week at this point. Get it out of the way, figure out what your cap is looking like, because again, it's looking like it's going to be under $10 million worth of cap space. They could make some other moves. This is what the lineup looks like right now. I don't think it's going to stay this way. I feel like K'Andre Miller will get traded. You're probably freeing up some salary cap space with Carson Soucy as well, but you're going to need money left to add at least one defenseman and maybe another offensive weapon, which is going to be very interesting to keep an eye on. But before we wrap up here, again, I just wanted to mention that we are going to have a stream later this evening at 4 o'clock Eastern, and obviously talking about Matt Rempe, Will Cuylle, all those guys. But again, last thing I wanted to mention, the Rangers tweeted this out this morning, so just wanted to acknowledge the passing of Anne Burrell, and she was basically one of the founders and there to help with the Garden of Dreams Foundation. She passed away today, so just wanted to bring it up in the video, bring some, acknowledge it, bring some attention to it, and yeah, they tweeted out this morning. So our thoughts are with Anne's family and friends during this difficult time as well. So just wanted to bring that up. But let us know in the comments how you feel about the whole situation with the New York Rangers. Matt Rempe signs a very team-friendly, I guess at this point, deal, as low as you're going to get essentially for Matt Rempe. And again, Will Cuylle is probably next. What's going to happen with K'Andre Miller? We'll keep you guys posted on the channel. Let us know how you feel in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.